Hello lovely book dragons and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Joanna and I love to talk about books on this channel, specifically fantasy books. And today I want to share with you the series that I would love to start and finish in 2023. I have 16 series on my list of series I would like to start and finish in 2023. Now I have series that I started prior to 2023 that I would like to finish. I have standalones I want to get to. And I know that 16 series is a lot. It's very ambitious, but this is the year where I want to binge series. Like literally my reading goals for the year are to read what I want to read and read things I want to love and DNF things I'm not liking, and to binge series. Those are my two goals for the year, so which is why these are on this list, because I think that these are series that I'm really gonna love and that I want to get to because I've owned them for a long time, or I've been wanting to get to them for a long time, but I've been reading other things just because they intimidate me, or for whatever reason this has been a problem. And so now I am here because I'm making this list. I want to get to these books, and ideally I'd like to binge all of these because most of the series on this list are completed and or are going to be completed within the year 2023 / beginning of 2024. Those are the parameters I gave myself, if you will. Another thing is, of course, if I start one of these series and I'm just really not vibing with it and I don't like it, I will DNF it, and it still counts to me as checking it off the list because I gave it a try, I didn't like it, wasn't for me, that's okay. It can go to someone else who will like it. By the way, just so you know, I do not like knowing much about the books of the series I'm getting myself into. I listen to the hype, I listen to a few tropes that I hear, and then I just go into it pretty blindly because I feel like that's the way I like to go into books. So if you would like to hear in-depth synopses, this is not the channel for that, because I just don't do that because I myself don't like to know. So I will just talk to you about why I want to pick up these series, why I want to read them, where I've heard about them before, and that's why I want to read them. Without further ado, let's talk about the series I want to read in 2023. I'm going to start off with a series I do not own physically yet because those I will forget. The first one is the Soldier Sun series by Robin Hobb, the first book being Shaman's Crossing. This is a trilogy by Robin Hobb that is not set in the realm of the Elderlings, but I have heard that it is just as good and that it's just an amazing series. I've also heard people who like it less than, of course, the realm of the Elderlings because you have less time with the characters, you have less time to get attached to them. But generally speaking, I have heard pretty great reviews about the series, and I'm actually going to be a part of a buddy read for this over the summer month. I think it's June, July, and August that we're going to be reading these books. So I'm just patiently waiting until then. Going to be reading the realm of the Elderlings until then, hopefully finishing them before that, and then I can move into this series and be caught up with all of Hobb's work. I am so excited. The next series I want to read in 2023 is a series that I've heard mixed reviews on, but generally speaking pretty positive reviews on, and that is The Chronicles of the Wolf Queen, or The Chronicles of the Bitch Queen by K.S. Veloso, the first book being The Wolf of Oren-Yaro. I've heard Elle talk about the series and really like it. My friend Sarah really likes the series. Jolien likes the series. She just read the first book. This is a series that I want to pick up because it features a main protagonist who is an adult woman and a mother, and I feel like we don't get those perspectives very often in fantasy series, and it's why I want to read it. I own the first book on my Kindle. If I enjoy it, I will continue on. This one is one that it just sounds like something I would enjoy, and I all I know is she's a badass mom who has to fight for her kingdom but also be a mom, I think, and that's it. And like, I'm not a mom, I don't intend on being a mom ever, but this sounds just like something that I would find really interesting and that I want to read. Next up is a series that I'm very nervous about, but I do want to give it a try, and that is the Prince of Nothing series by R. Scott Baker, the first book being The Darkness That Comes Before. This one is apparently the most grimdark of grimdark series ever. It's very bleak, and I had been on the fence about reading it for so long. Recently I had a Book Dragons Babble episode, and Joana told me that she thinks I might like it. She did tell me, like, watch out, it's a hard series to recommend because it is very bleak, but she knows my taste for grimdark, she knows what I like to read, and I do want to give this one a try. So this one I'm also going to be buddy reading. I don't remember everyone who's included in this buddy read, but I do know we're planning on buddy reading this series, and again, if I don't like the first book, if it's just too grimdark for me, I will DNF it, but I do want to give it a try because I hear amazing reviews. I know my friend Alex really likes the series. I know that Johanna really likes the series. This series is very much beloved, and I do want to give it a try, but I will see how I feel about it. Okay, now onto the physical books. First series I have here is, these are in no order, right? These are just like how the stack is next to me. First one is the Age of Madness trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I am very ashamed that I have not yet read this. I read the First Law trilogy, the original trilogy, years ago now at this point, 2020 I think it was. I loved it. I loved it so much. It's one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I have read the standalones. I've caught up with the standalones. I loved them, all of them. I didn't like Red Country as much as the others, but I loved the series in general. And I have yet to pick up this one. I hear this is the best trilogy. I hear this is his best work to date. And I haven't read it yet. However, Alex over at Talga Reads and I are going to be buddy reading this in the month, like in the spring months. I think we said March, right? Yes, I think we said March for book one and then April and May to finish it out. So I will be reading this one very soon here. I'm very much looking forward to this. I think I'm going to love it because I love the First Law trilogy so much. And if this one is better than the First Law trilogy, I think that this is going to be definitely a favorite series of all time for me. The First Law universe, or that series in general, is one of my favorite series of all time, and I'm pretty sure this is gonna nail in the coffin, you know? This is gonna solidify it as one of my favorites of all time. Next up is a series that I hear so many rave reviews about, and everyone has been loving this, and it's the second book is on everyone's favorite list of last year because everyone was reading the series last year, and I was just too late to the game, but I'm ready now. This is the year where I'm gonna finally read my first Ken Liu with the Dandelion Dynasty, the first book being The Grace of Kings. I love these covers, first of all, and I heard that this book is kind of like a prologue type of thing, and then you go into the trilogy, if you will. And I don't know much else about this. I just know it's called Silk Punk. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. I think it has the God Among Us trope, which I really like. I'm very much looking forward to this series, and I am going to be buddy reading this one as well with my friend Scott over at The Bald Booktuber. I will, of course, leave every single channel of every person I mentioned in the description of this video. You should go check them out. I love all my friends and their channels. But yeah, Scott and I are going to be buddy reading this. I'm so excited to buddy read with him because we're both immersion readers, and so because I love Michael Kramer. Scott, did you know that Michael Kramer narrates these books? Because he does. And I'm so excited because I love Michael Kramer, but I know Scott is not the biggest fan. But he will immersion read anyway because I know him. So I'm very excited to read this. To read it with Scott, it's going to be fun. And then maybe we can have some chats also with other people who have read and loved the series before. Next up is a series that I've read the first book. I started the second book also, but then I stopped it because I wasn't really in the headspace for it. And then I waited. I decided, you know what? You're going to have to reread them anyway. Wait until the third book comes out and then you can complete the trilogy. And I am ready because the third book is out. And I love this first book so much. So I'm so excited to reread it and to finally continue on. And that is, of course, the Five Warrior Angels trilogy by Brian Lee Durfee, the first book being The Forgetting Moon. I actually have a video discussion that I was a part of for this book on Abby's channel with, it was Abby, Jimmy, and Petrik and I. So I will leave it up here so you can check it out. This was a discussion that happened in 2021, I think, when we first read this book. I love this book. This book has everything I love. It has secret passageways. It has prophecy. It has the secret air. It has all of the tropes that I love. If you love A Song of Ice and Fire, and I really mean it, if you love A Song of Ice and Fire, I think there's a very big chance that you will like this series. And I love the audiobooks for this as well. So I'm very much looking forward to rereading this gigantic book and then read the subsequent books that are even bigger. I am so excited. I love these books. At least I love the first one. And definitely the year where I'm going to be closing out the Five Warrior Angels series. I heard that the third book just really closes out the series with a bang, that it's a very good conclusion. It has me even more excited to hear that people who love the series also ended up loving the conclusion, because that's not always the case. So very much looking forward to Brian Lee Durfee's Five Warrior Angels this year. I was just so excited. I am though waiting because the third book is not out as an audiobook yet, but I think Scott told me it's coming out in May or something like that. So I'm going to be waiting until then, and then I'm going to reread these books and then finish out the series. Oh, I'm so excited. Next up is the only series on this list that I will maybe not read this year because I don't know when the third book is coming out. And that is the Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne, the first book being The Shadow of the God. If you don't know, John Gwynne had something really difficult happen in his family life, and so we are not 100% sure that the third book is going to come out this year. So yeah, maybe I will postpone this until we have news at least of the third book, because if it comes out early 2024, I can still read these in 2023 and then finish it out in 2024. That's not a big deal. But if we find out, okay, the third book's going to come out end of 2024 or in 2025, then I will put this on hold until then. But yeah, this is a series that I've been wanting to get to. I own the first two books because I love John Gwynne as an author. I will always support him and buy his books immediately, even if I read them later. But yes, I'm very much excited to read this. I hear so many people love this series, even people who didn't like The Faithful and the Fallen series, which is one of my favorite series of all time, end up loving this. So I'm very much looking forward to this Viking-inspired book with a gigantic dragon on it. I mean, come on. Speaking of John Gwynne, I am not going to not read any of his books this year because I still have the Of Blood and Bone trilogy that I haven't read. Like I said, the Faithful and the Fallen series is one of my favorite series of all time. However, I have not read the sequel trilogy, which is Of Blood and Bone. So this one is directly linked to the original quartet, as it is set in the same world, just hundreds, I think, of years after the events of that first book. So I don't know anything about it, of course, as I tend to not do, because I don't like to know anything. And this is a trilogy that I've owned for years now, and I want to read it because, like I said, I love the first quartet. Why have I not read this? I don't know, but this is definitely going to happen this year. I love John Gwynne. I love his books. So action-packed. The action is always insane in these books, and I can't wait to get to these books. So excited. If you take a shot every time I say that I'm so excited, you will be drunk by the end of this video. I dare you. Go for it. Next up is a series that I had on my shelves, and I bought the first two books kind of on a whim. I don't remember who I heard rave about them, who I heard talk about them. I just knew I wanted to read them. I have the first two books, and the third book is out, and the fourth book is coming out this year. So if I do end up liking this series, I can just binge it out, finish it off, and that is exciting. So the series is The Reborn Empire by Devin Matson, and the first book is Rewrite the Storm. I am going to be buddy reading this one with my friend Jolien. We have decided that this is going to be our buddy read of the year. I don't know anything. I just know like there's warriors and empire, and I think it is Asian-inspired fantasy. I'm not 100% sure. Honestly, I think it must have been the covers that really drove me to it. Like each color has like its own, and it's so floppy. Oh my goodness. Like I said, I really don't know much about this series. All I know is that I own the first two books. Yolene wanted to read them, and I said, hey, I need the push to read that series. So at least I'm going to read the first two books, and then if I like the first two books enough to continue on, I will continue on with this series and finish it out this year. Like I said, the last book comes out this year, so I'm excited. I don't know when we're buddy reading this, but if you wanted to join the buddy read, and we will announce, of course, in our TBRs, etc., when we're going to be reading this. But I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be something that I don't hear much about, and it's kind of nice that way. So there's not too much hype around it. There's just enough hype where I'm like, oh, I own them. I was intrigued at some point to read them, and now I'm finally going to get to that. So I'm looking forward to reading this with Jolene and discussing it with her and see what she thinks about it as well. Next up is a series that I've already started. Look at me go, and that is the Grey Coat series by Sebastian de Castell. First book, Traitor's Blade. This is the book that I've read so far. This series was very much hyped a few years ago, 2020, 2021, something like that, because Alan over at the Labyrinth of Alexandria read it, I think, as a Discord buddy read or something like that, and he really loved it. He's the main hype man behind the Grey Coats, at least as far as I know, and I've owned it since then. I bought the whole quartet. I just trusted Alan blindly, completely blindly. I bought the whole quartet. I have them on my shelves. They're stunning books. And then this year, my buddy Rick and I were trying to find a series that we would want to buddy read, and he had just finished the other series, Spellslinger, the Spellslinger series by Sebastian de Castell. And then I mentioned, hey, I have the Grey Coat series on my shelves. Do you want to read them together? And he said, yes, absolutely. Love his writing. I want to read them with you. So here we are. We picked the Grey Coat series. This one I know a little bit more about since I have read the first book, but because I didn't give you synopsis about the others, I won't do it with this one either. But this one is very fun fantasy. I really enjoyed this first book. It wasn't a favorite. The ending was a bit rushed for me, but I'm very much looking forward to continuing on and seeing where this goes, because I think this could become, like, maybe not a favorite series, but a very, very fun series to have read. A little bit of a palate cleanser series as well, because it just reads very differently. There's a lot of humor, and the friendships in this are what really keeps me wanting to go back, because I love the dynamics between the friendships and the people and the characters in the book, at least in this first book. And yeah, I'm very excited to continue on. Grey Coats will be read this year. Definitely, I've already started, so it's a good start. You know, at least this one has already been started. No, I just need to finish it. Ooh, next up is, like, I think this is the #1 hype series for me. This is the series that I want to start, like, today. If I could, I would start it today. But the last two books, which we thought there was only one more book coming out, but in fact, it's 2 more books are coming out in this series. My friends Alex and Scott are, like, the biggest fans of this series. They love it so much. Because of talking to Alex and Scott so often, I want to read this series even sooner now. And I'm just so excited. The only thing is I'm noticing it's very hard to find the paperbacks. It's very hard to find these books. So I'm struggling. But I will find them. Even if I end up with a mismatched set, it's okay. But that is, of course, the Sun Eater series, with the first book being Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. I bought this first book. I think this is, like, the main character ends up being the bad guy or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I think I heard someone say, this is like, what if this was the origin story for, like, Anakin or something like that, or Anakin, I don't even remember, but all I know is that this sounds incredible, and there's so many books out, and so many people love this series, and this is it's either pure sci-fi or sci-fantasy, and that's very different for me. I don't tend to go into the sci at all. I stick to the fantasy. So this is different. This is exciting. All my friends love this. There's so many books out. I'm just ready for this adventure. I'm really just ready for this adventure, and I have been wanting to get to this for so long now. I was supposed to be the shelf space buddy read person for this last year, and I'd picked this book last year, but then my life became crazy and I couldn't read it at the time. So I kind of missed out when everyone picked it up because I had picked the book and then I couldn't read it. So I am ready. This is the year I'm going to start this. The last books come out next year, but I am going to pick this up this year because I don't want to postpone it anymore. I'm done postponing. I just want to read these books. I'm so looking forward to this series. You have no idea. Next up is a series that I started and I need to reread, and I just need to reread everything I've read and continue on. And that is The Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. I read Jade City. I really like this. I don't know why I didn't continue. I started Jade War like Christmas 2021, and then I put it down for some reason because I don't know. I think I wanted to read Christmas books at the time, and then I didn't pick it back up. So now I'm gonna reread the first book. I'm gonna reread the odd pages that I read of Jade War and finish it up because everyone says that this series just becomes better and better and better, and that Jade Legacy is just amazing. And I just really like this first book so much that I cannot imagine not liking the subsequent books. And I know that when I was reading Jade War, I was loving every single second of what I was reading. And so there's no excuse for me. I need to finish the Greenbone Saga this year. It needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, this is like one of the series I'm like, girl, if you don't read this year, shame on you. Shame on you. And again, this is a series that's a bit different because this is more like mafia fantasy and urban fantasy. So it is a change of pace from epic high fantasy. So this one is just something nice and fun to change the pace of what I tend to read. So no excuses anymore. This year is a year where I read Greenbone Saga. Hold me to it. Hold me to it. If in December 2023, I sit here and I'm like, guys, I didn't read Greenbone Saga. I don't even know. Next up is a series. I just know it's gonna happen. This is not even a discussion. The Drowning Empire by Andrea Stewart. I read this first book. Absolutely loved it. I will reread this first one because I am a little bit fuzzy on the details at this point. I will reread this and then I'm going to continue with book 2. And book 3 is coming out, I think, in April. So right now is about the time when I'm going to be starting my reread of this and reading the second book. And then bam, being ready for the third one. And I'm so looking forward. I love this book so much. It did so many things right that I love in a fantasy novel. Animal companions, found family trope, mysterious things happening where you don't have a real explanation, rebellion, freaking cool magic system where the main character has amnesia and doesn't remember the magic system and she's learning and you're learning with it. It's just so cool. I love this. Definitely gonna read this. There's no way, like there's some series on this where I'm like, there's a chance that at the end of the year I'm gonna sit here and be like, guys, I didn't read it. This is not one of them. I guess you were wondering, Joanna, come on, you are one of the co-hosts for this read along. Where was this book on your list? Of course, A Song of Ice and Fire. I mean, I've already reread A Game of Thrones. I am one of the co-hosts for the 2023 Asoyaf read/reread along group. Oh man, that name. Guys, why did we pick this name? Anyway, I am one of the co-hosts for this alongside with Jolien and Joana and Scot and Alex, and I reread, this is the first book I read this year. Amazing, stunning, beautiful, still my favorite. Love this series with all my heart. This series is my everything. What can I say, guys? What can I say? This is like one of those it's not even a question. I'm going to reread A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm going to reread the Duncan Egg stories, and I know I'm going to reread Fire and Blood. So I just know it's going to be the World of Ice and Fire year for me. And I'm so excited. Like, it makes me so excited. And I also have, what's it called? The Rise of the Dragon that I can read. I have the World of Ice and Fire I can read. I have so many things. I just don't have Winds of Winter or Fire and Blood 2 or Duncan Egg 2. And what a beautiful way to finish this video. We started with Robin Hobb, we shall finish with Robin Hobb. As I told you, I am making my way through the Realm of the Elderlings, and at this moment I'm reading the Tawny Man trilogy. I'm I am at the beginning of book 2. I didn't put it on this list because I had already started the Tawny Man trilogy last year, so it was one of my series to finish this year, but not to start and finish. So I have the 2 subsequent series in the Realm of the Elderlings. The first one being the Rainwild Chronicles, the first one being Dragon Keeper. This is the series that everyone says is not as good as all the others. I am just going to go in thinking this is Robin Hobb, so it's going to still be miles and way better than other books that I will have read in my life. I am not going to expect to love it as much as I love Tawny Man. First of all, because this is, I don't think this follows Fitz. I don't think it follows Fitz. I don't know. But anyway, I'm I'm gonna expect to enjoy this series, but not absolutely love it. However, if it's in the full trilogy, I am fully expecting this to be my favorite trilogy, like my top 3 favorite trilogies of all time. I think once I'm done with The Realm of the Elderlings, it's gonna be my top 3 series, generally speaking, of all time. Very much looking forward to finishing this. I'm buddy reading these with my friend Sophia. She's also really enjoying them. We are binging them. It's a good time. I love Robin Hobb. I love these books. These books mean so much to me. I am so excited, but I'm also so nervous for the heartbreak that's coming. I just know there's so many tears in my future, you know? I just know there's so many tears in my future, but it's worth it. For her, I will weep everything that is inside of me. I'll drink water, weep him out again, drink water, weep him out again. It's fine. Robin Hobb and I, we have an agreement, and the agreement is you can make me suffer. It's okay. Those are all of the series I want to start and finish in 2023, hopefully with no DNFs. Actually, it would kind of be nice if I had a DNF, because then some books less to read, but I do hope to end up loving all of these series because I'm so looking forward to all of them. Let me know in the comments down below which one you think I should prioritize. I can already hear you, Scott. You're typing Sun Eater. I know it. I just know it. It's fine, Scott. You can say Sun Eater. I would appreciate that. But yeah, let me know which series you think I should prioritize. If you want to buddy read any of them, let me know as well. And let me know what series you really want to prioritize in the year of 2023. That is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you just want to let me know you were here, you can leave, of course, a dragon emoji. And until next time, happy reading.